Hi friends, welcome back to the channel. My name is Queen Alita. If you are new here, I say welcome to you. I have a word to share with you guys. It is a very intense word. The Lord gave me this dream last week sometime, May 6th, and it alarmed me. I had the dream soon after falling asleep, and I woke up right after the dream. And I know when the Lord does stuff like that he wants me to pay attention. So before we get into the word, before I share the dream and the word around it, please remember that not every prophetic word is meant for everyone. This one is definitely not for everyone. So if this is something that resonates in your spirit, but the Lord hasn't really spoken to you about it yet, please take it to Him for confirmation and ask Him if He's speaking to you about it. Your relationship with Him is the most important thing that you can have in your life. It's the main thing that the enemy attacks. So cultivating that relationship and drawing closer to Him to hear His voice is so key. And for some of you, this word is confirmation. If you do have any questions, if there's stuff that you don't fully understand with regards to your particular situation, take those questions to the Lord. Ask Him for your specific strategy. I only know a little bit of the story. The Lord doesn't give me everything, which is good because it gives each and every single one of us room to seek Him, to go to Him, and to be in relationship with Him to get our answers. So with that being said, I will share the dream. Like I said, I had it on May 6th, 2022. And in this dream, I was driving a car. I was given this car somehow and I was driving it, but it was moving extremely fast. Extremely fast. I knew in the dream that I was in the place where the Lord had sent me to. And at some point I could see that a traffic light was coming up and it was red. The red light was on, and I started to put my foot on the brake, just because of the red light. And I thought I would make it, that I would be able to come to a standstill by the time I got to the red light. But no matter how much I pressed that brake with my foot, the car just did not slow down, and it went flying through that red traffic light, through that intersection. Thank goodness there were no cars coming from either side. And when the car got to the other side of the traffic light, it almost felt like it was a cliff. So I turned the car towards the left so that I wouldn't fall over, and it was still moving at top speed, and I just was struggling to keep it under control, to slow it down, if that makes sense. And then all of a sudden I was no longer in the car. I was on the street, and where I was a very I would say it was an affluent place, some really nice restaurants, those kind of restaurants where you pay top dollar, fancy, luxurious places, and people are just having a nice time, eating, chatting, it's all good. And then I hear a sound, and I'm like, that is not a good sound. And I realize it's a car. I wasn't clear if it's the same car that I had been in, but in my spirit, it felt like it was a different car. So I hear this car, and I immediately know something bad is about to happen. And the car comes along, moving at top speed. Nobody's driving it, and I'm quite far from it. Right, this place is very open. It's like this. It's like a mall, but more open. Just a lot of fancy restaurants around, really upper class people, whining and dining here. And the car drives into one of the restaurants and literally just all over people. And I just gasped because I was like, oh my goodness, that's the last thing you want to see, is people being driven into like that. And I knew I had to run. I knew I had to get away because that car was going to come in my direction. So I began to run, and there was a place that had some more restaurants, but on a lower level. So I kind of went to those stairs, and I started to go down because that car was coming in my direction. And there were people from those restaurants that came up to look to see what was going on. and they were also curious. And there was this woman, she was wearing a wedding dress, she was a bride, and her groom was there with her, also in a tuxedo. And at some point she grabbed me, out of fear, just to try and like hide behind me or whatever. And I was like, hey, I also need to be free to run here, right? So she was like, oh, okay. And that car started to come towards us, and everybody dispersed on that lower platform, and I began to run further down the stairs, and it became more like a closed space. And I thought that I would find a basement door or something and be able to come out somewhere else. But I got to the bottom and there was absolutely nothing there. There was no way out. It was just sealed. And I knew I had to go back up. So I went back up and I saw the car. It was kind of hanging over. It had stopped moving. It was stuck. It was a little bit like damaged. I could tell that it wasn't going to be able to move because of the way that it was stuck. But also, if somebody just kind of tipped it over, it would kind of continue to do what it was doing. So I knew that I had to somehow get past it. All the people that had been there were gone. I was alone now. I'm thinking, okay, where's everyone? And I kind of maneuvered my way past the car, going in an upward direction, and someone dressed in official clothing, almost like Men in Black style, he pulled me out from, it was almost like a hole now, pulled me out. He helped me out, and he was working with someone else who was just on their laptop, just busy working. They even had the whole earpiece and everything. And I just thought to myself, really? I actually said it out loud. I was like, wow, people, this is serious. We're just attacked by a car and you're just carrying on like nothing happened. And that's when that second guy looked up and he said, well, why don't you go get yourself a burger with 2 double patties? Get a double patty, as in, sorry, I really do care, and yeah, go grab yourself that because you're fine, kind of thing. So I felt good. I felt like the danger was gone, but I was a teeny bit upset with how nonchalant that second guy was. At least the first one helped me. So that was the dream. So I've been sitting on this dream since May 6th. It really alarmed me. I was like, what on earth is the Lord showing me? What scenario is the Lord trying to draw my attention to? And today the word came quite clearly. So what the Lord is showing us through this dream is that a lot of you are entering some industries, worldly places. God is sending you into communities, into jobs, careers, industries that are really dominated with worldly principles, worldly things. And the Lord is saying through this dream, do not underestimate these places. Don't underestimate where the Lord is taking you to. You have to exercise great discernment and use sound wisdom at all times. Okay, so me being in that car and not being able to control it, that was a symbol of the intensity of where you will be. That you will not be able to control everything, and things can move so fast. Decisions can be made so quickly, and you feel like you don't have control. You may want to slow things down so that you can take it in and not be overwhelmed. But I believe that this is something that the Lord is sending you into because you are ready. He knows that you have the discernment and the wisdom that you need because He's imparted it to you. But He's saying, don't underestimate this thing. Don't underestimate this place that He's taking you to. It is in your promised land. It's part of your promise. And the Lord is saying, do not underestimate, right? Because even when the children of Israel started to take over their promised land, they still had some giants that they had to fight, right? So this almost feels like some kind of a test of discernment and wisdom. But this test is not for the Lord to see if you can handle it, but more for you to see that you can. And that if at any level you are doubting yourself because of the magnitude of this thing that the Lord is sending you into, the Lord is going to allow you to see that you actually are going to be able to get through the difficult moments, because you have an idea of the type of thing that you're going to be involved in. So even though it will feel like you're out of control, that you're not able to control everything that is happening, understand that is the nature of the place that God is sending you to. And your role is to be vigilant, right? It's not to be like those who are complacent, who have kind of made it in those places, in those spaces, in those industries. So everybody who is sitting in these very fancy upmarket restaurants, they represent people who've made it, who are relaxed, who don't really see the dangers. They don't really have wisdom and discernment the way that you do. And that is why when that second car came, it kind of drove into so many people. It was attacking, and they were not aware. They didn't know what that sound was. It's like they didn't even hear it. Even though I heard it in the dream, I knew that it was the sound of something dangerous. But they're not going to understand things the way that you do. And that is why so many people have been taken advantage of in some of these industries, because they just didn't know what to expect, even though they may have made it. They may have the appearance of having had made it. So basically what the Lord is saying is that you are in the world, but you're not of it, right? It's so important to understand that you will face some challenges that other people have as well, but you have that wisdom, you have that discernment to see what's coming and to be able to make the necessary moves to avoid getting run over. So that part where that bride kind of grabbed onto me, I got a sense of the Lord saying that, there are going to be certain agreements that people make, contracts. The symbol of the bride and the groom in this dream were, people that have signed contracts, that are part of this industry. They may be new to it, and they'll try to cling on to you as they see things happen because they don't know what to do. But the Lord is saying, be careful of that, because you won't be able to carry everybody. The Lord has given you, He's put you in the position that He's put you in. He's allowed you to come into this space, into this industry, because He needs you to make a difference. And it is going to get lonely at some point. You may feel that you're stuck or cornered, and that there may not be a way out sometimes, but the Lord is going to give you a way out. I was able to come out and avoid that car hurting me in any way. And the Lord will provide the help that you need. Somebody helped me and pulled me up out of there. And here's the thing. Some of these industries are just, what's the word I'm looking for? The people don't really care. They can be so cold, or they may appear that way. But it's just the nature of things. That second guy who just seemed to not care about everything that had just happened to him, it was like, yeah, you're okay, you survived, and just grab yourself something to eat while you're at it, But I love the symbol of the double patty. It was like, yeah, you will overcome these things, and the Lord is always going to take care of you. You are going to have a double portion of the things that you need. So you're not always going to have people that are warm and fuzzy and show that they care or whatever, but they will recognize what you've overcome, what you're dealing with, and be able to point you in the right direction to kind of get relief. Or it felt like, when he said go get the burger patty, it felt like you were saying, for everything you've just been through, hey, why don't you sit down and relax and go eat something, kind of thing. And it's like a double portion of that, even though it may feel like people aren't, they don't care, but the Lord does, and He's giving you double for your trouble. So the scripture that the Lord gave me for this is Romans 12 verse 2, which reads, "Do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewal of your mind, that by testing you may discern what is the will of God, what is good and acceptable and perfect." Right? As you enter these places, spaces, communities, industries, whatever it may be that the Lord is calling you to in your promised land, don't become complacent. Don't be like everybody else. Be sober, be vigilant, be discerning. Do not conform. Be transformed by the renewal of your mind, because there will be many tests and you will find yourself cornered sometimes and a little bit lonely, because when I was cornered, there was nobody else there. And it was because of my vigilance in the dream that I was able to get away, but I found myself in a space alone. And know that God has always got you. He's always taking care of you. He's got your back. And He will always make a way of escape as long as you stay true to Him, and follow His commandments and be obedient to what He's calling you to. The Lord will even help you when you've disobeyed. But you get what I'm trying to say to you. Stay in the will of the Lord, because that is how you will easily maneuver through these situations. So friends, that is the word for today. I pray that it's blessed whoever it is for. And I will catch you in the next video. Always remember that God is a good Father. He loves you so much, because you, my friend, are so deeply special to Him.